Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual TrekCon 4 with Sirach Lofton and Melissa Longo, of course.
Hello.
We have a spectacular, very special guest, Jin Maley, who plays, checks notes, Communications Officer Ensign Kova Rin Esmar in Star Trek Picard. Hello, Jin. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, talk about this great season. Yeah.
Welcome.
Happy Star Trek Picard Day.
Welcome.
Yay.
Can we just start off first thing? Introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know why you started acting, how long it's been. Let's get to know you.
Yeah. So I'm Jin Maley. I actually recently came out as non-binary. I used to go by Lisa Maley for a long time. I came out as non-binary during COVID, actually. But I've been acting for about 18 years. Pretty much once I first discovered it, I was totally sold on it. I played classical piano for a really long time and I got a hand injury. So then I started to get into acting and felt like a natural transit. It's just performing, but like definitely I'm a way better actor than I was a pianist. So yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. I've been out in Los Angeles for 10 years. And, I've done TV and film things here and there. I've done a lot of theater. But this is my first really epically enormous, huge booking. So yeah, we were just talking about how, I'm new to this. This is my first big interview. I'm glad to do it with you guys, and it's fun to do it over Zoom. And it was nice to meet you in person, though, before doing it. We met at the after party for the premiere, which was fun. But
great premiere, great after party, great meeting.
Oh my God, so great. Yeah, it was great to meet you, too. The food was amazing.
It was.
So bomb.
And, of all the shows to be on and all of the seasons to be on them, this Picard season 3 is like a golden opportunity to showcase and be a part of something special because, what we saw is something extremely special.
I know. It really is legendary. And when we use these kinds of words, I feel like we use these kinds of words for a lot of things, but this really is special. I mean, the whole cast coming back together. I am not I was never like, a major Star Trek fan, but I did watch Next Generation. And
nice.
It holds a very special place in my heart. And I've seen Discovery, but like the fact that it was this season just, How
does the being on the set compare to, your experience as an actor on other sets and other shows? What was some of the things that jumped out at you as remarkable?
I think everybody is very aware that we're making history and we're part of this huge, major part of American culture. I mean, it's like historically significant. And so there's a certain kind of gravitas that you feel, or a gravity or something when you're on the bridge. As you know, Sirach, there's like there's an extra layer of weightiness, I guess. And you'll be shooting and you'll just have these moments where you're like, I'm on the bridge. What is happening? It felt, we shot for like 9 months or so, and that feeling never went away. Every now and then I would stop and look at where I was and just feel like a fan, not like a professional. I had to like take a moment to really take in where I was. And also, I think the Star Trek family, as you guys know, is so welcoming and inclusive. And like the fans are so cool, probably the coolest fans out there. And
probably, definitely.
So like sweet, good-hearted people. Because I think you have to be to like Star Trek, because the values of Star Trek are so noble, for lack of a better word. So yeah, it feels like a warm hug,
Definitely ideals to strive towards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which we need right now. Life is so bleak right now.
Yeah.
We need some joy. We need some hope,
Yeah.
And you mentioned that inclusivity. Was that, that's also a tenet of the show and one of the ideals that Star Trek stands for. but sometimes it's not the experience that you feel as an actor when you're on the set. Is that something that you felt on the set as well? Like, were you welcomed and treated well?
So welcomed, so welcomed. Yeah, when I first came on board, the character wasn't, as far as I know, super well developed. I mean, it felt like we were making it together, and they gave the character they them pronouns. People were very conscious of using my pronouns on set, and yeah, I didn't feel any kind of weirdness at all. It was really nice.
So you're part of the process of creating. Yeah.
Sorry, I think.
Sorry, Melissa, go.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, what surprised you most in your experiences working on this season with the cast and crew?
I mean, I'm someone who really has imposter syndrome, and I'm working through that. I don't know if you all know what that's about.
No, because I don't. What is it?
Sirach wouldn't. Basically, imposter syndrome, for anybody that might not know, is the fear or the feeling that at any moment people are going to realize that you're not actually good at your craft. Writers are notoriously stricken with imposter syndrome, where they feel like this is it. This is the screenplay I'm going to write, where they're all going to realize I'm not as good as they thought I was, or something like that. And it happens to actors. Everybody feels that way. But anyway, you were saying, Jin?
Yeah, imposter syndrome, anxiety. If you have these things, I feel you. You're not alone, because the first thing that came to my mind when you said what surprised you was the fact that I could do it. I was so scared. I had plenty of experience. I had every reason in the world to be completely confident, but I was really afraid my nerves would get the better of me. And I mean, it didn't. But this experience, it feels personally significant for me, because I feel like, I don't know, I really stepped into another level of confidence in myself by doing this role. And yeah, what surprised me, I mean, everybody being so welcoming. I mean, being on the bridge with Patrick Stewart acting with you when he's off camera. I mean, not everybody does that. Some people really phone it in when they're off camera, especially somebody like, of his stature, of his level. And the fact that he, was present, everybody was so present and welcoming right from the get-go. You were mentioning, Sarah, comparing to other shows. With other shows, you come on as a co-star, as a small part, like the part that I'm playing in Star Trek. And you're kind of like, you're not really part of the cast. You're like, okay, you're here, and they have their own family thing going, and you're just kind of like visiting. And it was not that way at all. They just really included us right out of the gate. And yeah, I felt very at home.
Now, you said that you were
Patrick. I just want to repeat that you said Patrick Stewart was working scenes with you, like running scenes with you.
Oh, no.
Not yet.
But if you were doing,
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, we were running lines together.
Oh wow!
He bought me some tea.
This guy. I love this guy.
Hot.
No, let's not get crazy.
I want to ask you though. I'm sorry. What is it like when you're creating a whole new character that, because that's one of the questions we ask, people who have played Ferengi and whatnot, when they're inventing an entire species in Star Trek. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. So this was a Hawaiian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we know very little, but there was a character, Jin. Just to piggyback on what Sirach's saying, you've seen some or much of The Next Generation. Were you privy to the Hawaiian character in The Next Generation? Did they give you this to study? What did you know about this, if anything?
Did they give me this to study? No. I got there. And they said, we're going to make you an alien. I was in the makeup chair. That's when I found out, when they started putting the makeup on me. Oh, so wow. I was in the makeup chair. Yeah, they didn't cast me as an alien. They cast me. And then I was in the makeup chair. They were putting the piece on me. And I was looking up online about, things that I could piece together from Hawaiian culture.
Which isn't much. There isn't a ton out there yet.
Really what I did, the thing about acting, there's so many people in this community, you guys and fans watching this, who know so much more about Star Trek than I do. Fortunately, as an actor, it's like the character is kind of a composite of all of the contributions of different people, the actor, the makeup artist, the directors, the writers, the lighting, the set, everything. So from my portion, I'm not an expert by any means. I just saw empathy and telepathy and I ran with that. I said, okay, I'm going to make this character's communications. They speak all these languages. They're going to be highly competent, really good at their job. They're young. They're an ensign, but they're on top of their game. And they have this telepathic ability, which to me, I was thinking of the person, Esmar as like clairsentient, like able to sort of sense the feelings of other people, which is really just sort of an exaggeration of who I am naturally.
And
being
real quick,
a highly sensitive person.
There was one character in one episode, a Hawaiian that was romantically involved with Mr. Geordie LaForge, played by, of course, LeVar Burton. This was the Hawaiian Aquiel, I think. So that's almost all we have to go with. Apparently, there was one in Lower Decks as well. I didn't realize that, but that's all we had to go with. So it's got to be pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, because you kind of are paving the way for the Hawaiians. We get to see a lot more of them and what makes them tick, which is exciting.
Yeah, totally. And
the wave hasn't hit you yet either, so you're still, this is the public hasn't seen it, and this is all based on the experience that you had leading up to it. And actually, about that, what was the auditioning process like for you?
I remember auditioning for Vadik, but is that the way they're pronouncing it?
Yes,
it's Vadik. So.
The villain.
I auditioned for that, and I'm sure that's something that who knows if they were actually considering me for that part, if they were just, I don't really know what goes on with them. But I remember auditioning for that. I remember being asked to audition for a part that would cause my character to die. One of those, long live the Federation, and then you get shot up. And I was like, I'm not doing that. No, because I want to be on this show. I've wanted to be on this show for a really long time. I mean, not Picard specifically, just in the Star Trek universe. So I said no to that. And then this, it was a self-tape, and it involved a lot of, interacting and reacting and noticing something happening over here and then something going on the board that you're interacting with and then interacting with a person. So it was a very short thing, but it involved a lot of reaction. So
you're a communications officer, so you're kind of taken over from a position that Nichelle Nichols played as Uhura. However, that console, that panel that you're pushing buttons on is unbelievably beautiful and intricate and complicated. Was there any instruction at all, or were they like, all right, good luck, kid, make it look real?
What do you think?
Based on what you said earlier, I'm guessing they were like, all right, good luck, kid, make it look real. We're doing a close-up.
I mean, the fun thing about doing TV is, and especially having a smaller part, but they're really kind of letting you do your thing. They cast you and they trust that you know what you're doing. So you're going to do your thing. There was definitely a time, though, I think Doug said to me, Jin, we can tell you're not hitting buttons or something. Doing something.
Doug, the director, yes.
And so there were, because I come from theater, so I'm used to having time to rehearse on set, so I had to really use whatever downtime I had when we weren't shooting to figure out what all the buttons were, and make that really specific, because you have to look like you are massively on top of that whole beautiful console. Oh my gosh, I loved it. Yeah.
The whole set is beautiful. That's one of the things that
really
jumps out right away, is just the kind of craftsmanship that these guys are putting into the sets. and just like you mentioned about the passion of the cinematographers, the directors, and special effects, everybody puts in so much work to make it look exceptional. Does this have a feature film feel to it when you guys are filming? Because it visually appears like a feature film, even though it's just a series. But is it also feel like that on the set? Like, oh, this is like basically feature film level?
In what sense? Like,
just the bigness of the scale. Usually, feature film.
Oh, I see.
Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done enough. I haven't done a big budget feature, so I really wouldn't know. But yeah, I mean, it felt like a lot. We took a lot of footage, a lot of different angles. I mean, the quality of all of the equipment they were using, it felt pretty epic.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you come from stage.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a play starting tomorrow. I'm playing Ariel in The Tempest, who is another supernatural being. So
that's awesome.
It's fun to play supernatural beings. I'm playing a supernatural being in a video game too, which will come out in like a year. I know, so weird.
Now, are you a supernatural being in real life? If you can pull that off, then you're set.
I think maybe it's the shaved head. I don't know. My father-in-law, when I shaved it, he was like, I was like, "What do you think, Murray?" And he looked at me and he just went, "You look like a Martian." So that's my casting now.
All right.
I love you, Murray. I love him. I didn't intend to speak about my family. I love my family. They're so incredibly supportive, and I really wouldn't be here without them. Listen to me giving my little like Oscar speech. No, but I just want to. I didn't expect to mention them, so I thought I should say they're amazing.
So, sorry, Melissa, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. Is there something that you particularly enjoy about Esmar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what I enjoyed that I brought to the character, and that I don't know how much of this came through because I don't know what footage they used, because the story's really made in the editing. Right. So who knows what came through? But what I enjoyed about playing the character is how sensitive they are. And they're very competent and they're on top of it, but there's a lot of heart and there's a lot of emotion going on under the surface that they're trying to keep it together. I think Esmar really, I'm sure this does come through, Esmar really cares about their fellow bridge officers. I think that they really have a big heart. So yeah, I would say that's probably, yeah. And like you work on a role and it changes you. It brings out different sides of yourself. And I don't know, I feel like Sirach, you're smiling. I would love to hear your experiences about that if you want to share. I don't know if I don't want to hijack the interview.
I've had, I mean, just this itself, just this experience that we're doing exactly right now is almost the result of the characters that I played in the past, of the character I played on DS9. So it does stay inside of you and it does become a part of you. So you are changed by the character after you get to know it intimately. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great feeling.
Now, Jin, on set, I'm positive the answer is that everybody was wonderful and everyone was nice. But who wasn't? No, I'm just kidding. Who especially did you vibe with on the set? Whether it was a PA or a fellow actor or director, was there one or two people that really jumped out at you that you really enjoyed their company?
I mean, so many people. The first people that actually came to mind were the COVID protocol folks. Running around and like taking our masks and giving them back and just being very. There's so many people who are just so on top of it. The food was amazing. Unbelievable. After, I think it was after the holidays, my weight was starting to creep up for a little bit towards the holidays. And then it really shot up over the holidays when I went home and just ate tons of delicious food. And I came back and I actually had to get a bigger pants size. It'll be interesting to see if that shows up. But What was I going to say? Oh, you were asking, went on a tangent. You said, what was the question again?
If you had like a best pal on set. Yeah.
Yeah, I got really close with Stephanie and Joseph, who play Tavine and Mura. Mm-hmm. Because we had a lot of a lot of scenes together. We had a lot of time sitting on chairs together. And Jonathan Frakes was the first person I remember who talked to me on the actual set. And he just came up next to me. And I was kind of looking at him. And he just goes, he is so charming. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. He just looked at me and he went, so do you like Star Wars? And I was like, no, it's Star Trek. And he would constantly mess with me because I'm very gullible. There was food outside and I was like, oh, is that free? Or something. I don't know, something like that. He messed with me all the time. And he was very sweet, very welcoming, like so charismatic. Exactly the way you would expect him to be, he is, and more.
It's so true.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I know. He just oozes charm. He's just so... It's so fun to be around.
It really is.
Playful instead of playful spirit. Yeah.
He's very playful.
Yeah. So Jin, we only have you for another minute or so here. But before we go, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, especially when you're super busy and you have lines to learn and theater to show off in. We really appreciate that. Before we go, is there anything you would just like to say to the world out there, the fans, like this season is going to be amazing, or don't be sad if I die in the second episode? I don't know. I'm just saying, don't say that though. Is there just anything you'd like to say to the people out there?
Thank you for being a fan. Thank you for creating a beautiful community in the world to celebrate and appreciate this wonderful show. And you're as much a part of the show as we are by participating in this community and enjoying it and connecting with each other. And I just feel grateful to be part of this family. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Beautiful. Well, by the way, Melissa and I didn't mean to match today.
I know.
That's so cute.
Sirach texted us both and said, make sure you wear your 10 Forward shirts from Paramount Plus. We'll all be doing it. And then we showed up and Sirach was like, psych. No, that didn't really happen, but it works. Anyway, so
thank you so much, Jen.
Yeah, this was amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Looking forward to many more successes. And everybody at home, now that you've seen this, go back and watch episode 1 of season 3 of Picard again. Go watch it a third time. And
a fifth.
That's about it. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Jin, thank you. And everybody at home, we'll see you next time on Virtual TrekCon.